There once lived a man named Job. He was known far and wide as a man of integrity. He loved God with all his heart, and he hated everything that was evil. Job lived in the land of Uz, and God himself called him blameless. Job had a large family, 7 strong sons and 3 beautiful daughters. He was also the wealthiest man of his time. His flocks filled the land, 7,000 sheep bleated across the hills, 3,000 camels marched like an army across the desert, 500 pairs of oxen plowed his fields, and 500 donkeys brayed in his barns. Added to this were countless servants, loyal workers spread across his estates like the grains of sand on a shore. Job was, without question, the greatest man among all the people of the East. His sons lived in abundance. Each one of them would take turns hosting great feasts in their homes, banquets filled with laughter, music, and overflowing food. Their 3 sisters were always invited, but Job, a man who feared God above all, never took these celebrations lightly. For every feast that passed, Job would rise early the next morning, his heart trembling with reverence, and he would offer burnt sacrifices for each of his children. His reasoning was simple: perhaps my sons or daughters have sinned. Perhaps, in their hearts, they have turned against God without realizing it. But far above the earth, a scene was unfolding that Job could not see. The angels of God came to present themselves before the eternal King, and among them came one who was not like the rest: Satan, the accuser, the ancient enemy of man. The Lord's voice thundered, "Where have you come from?" And Satan replied, "From roaming across the earth, walking back and forth upon it, observing mankind." The Eternal looked straight at him and said, "Have you considered my servant Job? There is no one like him on the whole earth, blameless, upright, one who fears God and shuns evil." Satan's eyes narrowed. His voice was sharp, dripping with mockery. "Of course Job fears you. Why shouldn't he? You've put a hedge of protection around him, around his household, and everything he owns. You bless everything he touches, and his wealth multiplies endlessly. Who would not worship a God who treats them like that? But stretch out your hand and strike down all he has, and watch, he will curse you to your face." The Lord, calm and unshaken, answered, "Very well. Everything he owns is now in your power. But do not lay a hand on the man himself." And with that, Satan departed, eager to destroy. Please take a moment, like, subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our amazing Bible stories, and don't forget to share this video with someone you love and care about. Days passed, and Job lived unaware of the storm gathering against him. Then, while his sons and daughters were feasting in the house of their eldest brother, a messenger came rushing, his face pale, his breath broken with terror. "My master!" he cried. The oxen were plowing in the fields and the donkeys were grazing nearby when raiders from Sheba attacked. They struck down your servants and carried off the animals. I am the only one who escaped to tell you." Before the words left his mouth, another servant stumbled in, his clothes torn, his voice trembling. Fire of God fell from the sky. It burned up the sheep and the shepherds alike. All were consumed in the flames. I alone survived to bring you word. Job's heart pounded. His eyes darted between the messengers, but before he could speak, a third servant burst in, his face streaked with dust and blood. Bands of Chaldeans swept down in 3 groups. They raided the camels and killed your men with the sword. I am the only one left alive to tell you. The room grew heavy with despair, but the nightmare was not finished. As that man's final word echoed, another servant came, stumbling, breathless, his face drowned in grief. His voice broke as he spoke. "Your sons and daughters, they were feasting in the home of your oldest son when suddenly, a mighty wind swept in from the desert. The house shook. The walls gave way. The roof collapsed upon them all. They are gone. All your children are dead. I am the only one who escaped to tell you." Time seemed to stop. Job stood in silence, his world shattered. His wealth was destroyed, his servants slaughtered, and his beloved children crushed beneath the ruins of their brother's house. All in a single day, everything was taken from him. No man alive had ever suffered such loss. No heart could bear such pain. The enemy had struck Job with the full weight of disaster, hoping to break his faith, hoping to make him curse God. But Job did not curse. Instead, he tore his robe, shaved his head, and fell with his face to the ground. From the depths of his soul, he cried out, "Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I will depart. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord." And in all this, Job did not sin. He did not accuse God of doing wrong. The heavens were silent, the earth broken, and Satan defeated, for the moment. But the battle for Job's soul was far from over. Another day came, and once again the heavenly court gathered before the eternal King. The angels stood in their place, but among them slipped in the shadowed figure of Satan, the accuser. The Lord spoke to him, his voice steady and firm. "Where have you come from?" Satan replied, "From roaming the earth, moving back and forth across it." The Eternal looked into his eyes and asked again, "Have you considered my servant Job? There is no one like him on all the earth, blameless, upright, a man who fears God and hates evil. And still, he remains faithful. You destroyed his possessions, you destroyed his children, yet he holds firmly to his integrity. You pushed me to ruin him without reason, but he has not cursed me." Satan smirked, his voice cutting like a blade. "Skin for skin. A man will give up everything he owns to save his own life. But strike his flesh and his bones, touch his body with pain, and he will surely curse you to your face." The Lord answered, "Very well. He is in your hands, but you must spare his life." And so Satan left the presence of the Lord. Not long after, Job awoke one morning to feel a burning sting upon his skin. At first, it was a rash, but soon it spread, rising like boils across his body. His arms burned. His chest was raw. His legs felt on fire. From the crown of his head to the soles of his feet, his skin was covered with painful sores. The pain was relentless, like fire crawling through his blood. Job could not rest. His body ached day and night. He sat on the ground, broken and trembling. His strength left him, his breath was weak. He picked up a piece of broken pottery and began scraping at his skin, trying to relieve the torment. Around him, ashes lay scattered, and Job sank into them, a great man reduced to misery and dust. It was here that the voice of despair entered his own home. His wife, who had also lost everything, her children, her wealth, her comfort, looked at Job's ruined body. Her heart was filled with bitterness, her grief had turned to rage. She cried out, "Are you still holding on to your integrity? Curse God and die." Her words cut deeper than his sores. The one closest to him urged him to give up, to surrender his faith, to let his lips deny the God he loved. But Job, even in the ashes, even with his flesh burning, whispered back, "You are speaking like a foolish woman. Shall we accept good from God and not trouble?" His voice was faint, but his faith stood firm. He would not curse. He would not deny the one he served. Days turned into nights, and nights dragged into days. The sores remained, the pain did not leave. His neighbors turned away in horror, children mocked him, and those who once respected him avoided his shadow. Job, the most honored man of the East, had become a broken figure in the dust. Then word spread, and his 3 friends came to see him, Eliphaz the Temanite, Bildad the Shuhite, and Zophar the Naamathite. They heard of his suffering and traveled from their homes to comfort him. But when they saw Job from a distance, they barely recognized him. His body was twisted in pain, his skin scarred, his clothes torn. The sight crushed their hearts. They raised their voices and wept aloud. Each one tore his robe and sprinkled dust upon his head. Then they came and sat with Job on the ground. For 7 days and 7 nights, not a word was spoken. They sat in silence, overwhelmed by the depth of his suffering. They could not speak, for what words could explain such sorrow? Job's silence was heavier than stone. Inside, his mind wrestled with questions. Why had God allowed this? Why had his prayers been met with disaster? Why had heaven stayed silent while the earth swallowed his children? He had no answers. Only ashes, only pain. But even in his confusion, even when his wife urged him to curse, even when his friends wept in silence, Job's lips did not accuse God. He groaned, he scraped his sores, he endured, but he did not sin with his mouth. Far beyond what human eyes could see, a battle was raging. Satan had struck Job with everything except death itself. Wealth was gone, children gone, health gone, honor gone. Yet Job's faith stood, fragile but unbroken. The accuser's plan had not succeeded. And still, the silence of God lingered. No voice from heaven came, no angel was sent to comfort. Only pain, only waiting, only a man in ashes clinging to faith with the last strength of his soul. For 7 days and 7 nights, Job's 3 friends sat with him in silence. Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar had come to comfort him, but when they saw his broken body and heard his groans, words froze on their tongues. Dust covered their heads, their clothes were torn, and grief filled the air like smoke. Job's sores oozed, his skin cracked, and his breath rattled. Every moment was torment. And after 7 long days of silence, Job could no longer hold his sorrow inside. His voice broke the stillness. "Perish the day I was born," he cried. "May the night of my conception be erased from memory. Why did I not die at birth? Why did I not perish as I came from the womb? Then I would be at rest, lying in peace with kings and rulers of the earth. Now instead I sit here in ashes. I sigh instead of eating. My groans pour out like water. What I feared most has come upon me. I have no peace, no quietness, no rest, only turmoil." The words shook the hearts of his friends. This was Job, the man they once admired, now wishing he had never lived. His cry was not rebellion, but raw despair, the kind that pierces bone and soul. At last, Eliphaz the Temanite spoke, his voice careful but sharp. "Job, can I say something without offending you? Who, being innocent, has ever perished? Where were the upright ever destroyed? Those who plow evil, those who sow trouble, they reap it. I myself have seen it. Job, trouble does not come from nowhere. It must have a cause. Search your heart. Have you sinned against God?" The words stung like salt in a wound. Job lifted his weary eyes. "If only my anguish could be weighed. It would outweigh the sands of the sea. The arrows of the Almighty are in me. My spirit drinks their poison. You, my friends, see my suffering and still wound me with accusations. Teach me, and I will be silent. Show me my sin, and I will repent. But your words are empty, like a desert wind." But Bildad the Shuhite leaned forward, his face stern. "How long will you say such things? Your words are a blustering wind. Does God pervert justice? If your children sinned against him, he gave them over to the penalty of their sin. But if you will seek God and plead with him, if you are pure and upright, surely he will restore you and give you a prosperous future. Job, consider the generations before us. The wicked are like reeds withering without water, but those who trust God will shine again." Job's lips trembled, his heart crushed. "How can a mortal be righteous before God? If he takes me to court, I cannot answer him. Even if I were innocent, my own mouth would condemn me. He destroys both the blameless and the wicked. If a scourge brings sudden death, he mocks the despair of the innocent. My days are swifter than a runner, they fly away without joy. If only there were someone to mediate between us, someone to lay his hand upon us both, someone to bridge the gap between man and God. Still, his friends did not relent. Zophar the Naamathite, the harshest of the three, could no longer contain himself. His words lashed like a whip. Should your idle talk go unanswered? Should we remain silent while you mock truth? Know this, Job. God exacts less than your sin deserves. If you will only set your heart right and put away your iniquity, then your life will shine brighter than the noonday sun. But as long as you defend yourself, your words are lies. The accusations sank like knives into Job's soul. These were his friends, men who had traveled to comfort him, yet their comfort became torment. They looked at his sores, his ruin, his sorrow, and instead of compassion they gave judgment. Job pressed his hands against his chest, his voice cracked. You are worthless comforters, all of you. Will your long-winded speeches never end? If you were in my place, I could string words against you and shake my head at you. But I would encourage you with my mouth, comfort you with my lips. Instead, you crush me with lies. God has wronged me and drawn his net around me. My honor is stripped away, my hope uprooted like a tree. My face is red with weeping, deep shadows ring my eyes. Yet even now, my witness is in heaven, my advocate is on high. My intercessor is my friend as my eyes pour out tears to God. The arguments continued, back and forth, day after day. Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar circled him like wolves, their words sharper than swords. They insisted Job must have sinned, for such suffering could not come to the innocent. Job defended his integrity again and again. He swore that he had not hidden evil in his heart, had not turned from righteousness, had not oppressed the poor nor denied justice. The struggle was not only in his body but in his soul. Heaven was silent. His friends accused him. His wife urged him to curse. His mind was filled with questions, his heart full of pain. He wrestled with God, desperate for an answer, desperate for light in the darkness. And then, from the dust and ashes, Job lifted a cry that echoed across eternity. I know that my Redeemer lives, and that in the end he will stand upon the earth. And after my skin has been destroyed, yet in my flesh I will see God. I myself will see him with my own eyes, I, and not another. How my heart yearns within me. The silence deepened. His friends fell quiet, though only for a moment. The arguments were not over. But Job's cry revealed something deeper. Even in his confusion, even in his suffering, even when all reason told him to give up, his faith in God had not died. It trembled, it questioned, it wept, but it endured. The debates dragged on like an endless storm. Day after day, Job's friends poured out their arguments, each word like a hammer striking the same nail. You must have sinned, Job. You must be guilty. Job defended himself again and again. His voice cracked, his spirit groaned, yet still he held to his innocence. And then, after Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar had spoken, another voice rose, a younger man, Elihu. He had listened in silence, giving respect to the older men, but now his heart burned with words. His voice shook with passion. Job, you claim to be righteous, but you speak as though God is unjust. That cannot be. The Almighty does not pervert justice. God speaks in many ways, through dreams, through suffering, through whispers in the night, but men do not always listen. Your pain, Job, may not be punishment. It may be discipline, correction, instruction. Do not accuse God of wrong, for his ways are higher than ours. Elihu spoke long, his words heavy and fiery. As Elihu's voice rang into the air, the wind began to rise. Dust swirled around them. The sky darkened. The earth trembled. And suddenly, from the heart of the storm, a voice thundered. It was not the voice of Elihu. It was the voice of the Almighty. "Who is this," the Lord roared, "that obscures my plans with words without knowledge? Brace yourself like a man, I will question you, and you shall answer me. Where were you when I laid the earth's foundation? Tell me if you understand. Who marked off its dimensions? Who stretched the measuring line across it? On what were its footings set, or who laid its cornerstone, while the morning stars sang together and all the angels shouted for joy? Have you ever commanded the morning, Job? Have you ever given orders to the dawn? Have you walked in the recesses of the deep, or explored the gates of death? Tell me if you know all this. Do you give the horse its strength? Do you clothe its neck with a flowing mane? Do you make it leap like a locust, striking terror with its proud snorting? Does the hawk take flight by your wisdom, or the eagle soar at your command? Will the one who contends with the Almighty correct him? Let him who accuses God answer. The storm roared, lightning split the sky, and Job fell to the ground, trembling. His voice was small compared to the thunder. "I am unworthy. How can I reply to you? I put my hand over my mouth. I spoke once, but I have no answer, twice, but I will say no more." But the Lord was not finished. Out of the whirlwind he spoke again. "Brace yourself like a man, I will question you, and you shall answer me. Would you discredit my justice? Would you condemn me to justify yourself? Do you have an arm like God's? Can your voice thunder like mine? If you can, adorn yourself with glory and splendor, unleash the fury of your wrath, look at all who are proud and bring them low. Then I will admit that your own right hand can save you." The storm raged, the voice of God shook the heavens and the earth, and Job was undone. He realized the truth. He had spoken of things too great for him to know. His pain had been real, his questions were deep, but he had dared to challenge the wisdom of God. Now, in the whirlwind, he understood. Job fell face down in the dust and ashes. His voice was broken, but clear. "I know that you can do all things. No purpose of yours can be thwarted. Surely I spoke of things I did not understand, things too wonderful for me to know. My ears had heard of you, but now my eyes have seen you. Therefore I despise myself and repent in dust and ashes." Silence fell. The storm calmed. The whirlwind ceased. Job's confession rose into the heavens, and God was satisfied. But the matter was not finished. The Lord turned his gaze to Job's 3 friends. His voice thundered against them. "My anger burns against you, Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar, because you have not spoken the truth about me as my servant Job has. Take 7 bulls and 7 rams and go to my servant Job. Sacrifice a burnt offering for yourselves, and my servant Job will pray for you. I will accept his prayer and not deal with you according to your folly." Shaken, the friends obeyed. They brought the sacrifices, and Job prayed for them. God accepted Job's prayer, and the friends were spared. Then the Lord restored Job's fortunes. He gave him twice as much as he had before. His brothers, sisters, and former acquaintances returned to him, and they all ate with him in his house. They comforted him and gave him silver and gold. The blessings of the Lord poured like rain. Job received 14,000 sheep, 6,000 camels, 1,000 pairs of oxen, and 1,000 donkeys. More than his wealth, God blessed his family again. 7 sons and 3 daughters were born to him. The daughters were the most beautiful women in the land, and Job gave them an inheritance alongside their brothers. Job lived 140 years after this, long enough to see his children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. And when at last he died old, full of years, and at peace. Thus ended the trial of Job. His story remains a testimony for all generations, that faith is not built on blessings, but on trust, that suffering is not always punishment, but sometimes a mystery, and that in the darkest hour, when heaven is silent, God still sees, still knows, and in his time, he speaks. Job's story reminds us of one unshakable truth. Faith is not proven in comfort, but in crisis. The measure of a soul is not in what it receives, but in what it endures. Job lost everything: his wealth, his children, his health, but he never lost his God. And when the silence finally broke, when the whirlwind roared, Job discovered that the God who seemed distant was closer than ever. His pain had a purpose, his tears were not wasted, and his end was greater than his beginning. So remember this: when life crumbles, when prayers feel unanswered, when suffering makes no sense, hold on. Because the God who spoke to Job still speaks today. And one day, like Job, you will see him with your own eyes. This is not the end of your story. It is only the beginning of what God is preparing for you. If this story touched your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs hope today. And if you want more powerful Bible stories told just like this, make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next one.